In my 30 years of practicing divorce and family law in Michigan, I fairly often run into the issue of separate maintenance. It's where folks from a religious persuasion will say, I don't believe in divorce. And many faiths treat marriage as if it's a sacred lifelong bond, and divorce violates their deeply held spiritual beliefs. And so they don't want to get divorced even though they need to get separated, whether for their own protection, the protection of their kids, or the parties just can't live together anymore and they need to separate. So couples will come, and it's often just, of course, one party that will come and say, I feel torn between my religious belief and my need to separate. So we can discuss with them. You have the option of separate maintenance, which is a court-ordered legal separation, and it still allows you to remain technically married. Separate maintenance is a court action, just like a divorce action. It offers the legal protection of dealing with custody, parenting time, property, assets, everything, but it doesn't violate religious marriage doctrines. And so it's really a crucial distinction for the folks with faith traditions that forbid divorce. And some of those folks will come in and ask and say, but what about an informal separation? Can't I just reach an agreement and we just live our separate lives? Well, the problem with that is we don't have a date of when support will start or when it's going to end. If there's going to be alimony, who's going to take care of what debts, and have it enforceable. If divorce were filed many years later, the length of the marriage would, of course, be much longer, and so the amount of alimony, the duration of alimony, may all be impacted, and it leaves a lot of financial and legal insecurity and confusion. And since verbal agreements really can't be enforced by a court system because we're not really sure what they are, now you can look at a party's practice, but even that leaves a lot of gray area. It's much simpler to have a court judgment that simply spells out what's going to happen with the property, with spousal support, child custody, child support, etc. And with a separate maintenance action, it doesn't break the marital bond. So the whole purpose behind it, of course, is to give parties peace of mind and legal clarity so that there is no confusion as to who's doing what, when they're doing it, and how much they're doing, etc. You get the picture. Now, one downside to legal separation, of course, is the other side can say, I'm going to file a counterclaim for divorce, and the court system is going to be granting a divorce, and you proceed again with the same terms, but then you're no longer married. Filing for separate maintenance has the same legal process, same requirements as filing for divorce. You have to be a resident of Michigan for 180 days. You have to be a resident in the county where you're filing for 10 days. And all of the other elements are the same under both, and that you need to plead appropriately so that it doesn't get dismissed or your case doesn't get reversed. There are issues, though, that can occur in a separate maintenance action. For example, health insurance. Some employers will all of a sudden treat you as if you're divorced, and they'll cancel health insurance. I had a case where the whole purpose for filing for separate maintenance was that the husband wanted to be able to provide health insurance for his wife who had all kinds of medical conditions, but they wanted to separate everything else and get divorced, and she didn't have the ability to be employed, so she couldn't get good health insurance, and he had good health insurance and had no problem providing that for her long term. But if an employer is going to just discontinue that out of the blue and treat it like a divorce, you need to take that into account and figure that out before you decide which way you're going to pursue this. Again, separate maintenance, much better than an informal separation or something that's done without a written order, court order. In sum, it is a viable method. It's a proper method to pursue legal remedies, legal rights, without getting divorced. It's a legitimate legal path. It's not just like a loophole. And for religious couples, this is what protects their spiritual integrity, and it still protects their legal rights. Until next time, thank you.